3 proven strategies for women to get more alimony in 2023. Here's how you can secure your financial future after divorce. So number 1, the most important thing is your need. You need to write pen to paper what it's going to take for you to live going forward. And if you join my Dollars in Divorce community, I have an Excel template and videos showing you how to do this. The next thing is that you're really going to understand what is your spouse's need. How much can they actually pay you? All right. So many people don't understand, okay, I want $60K a year, but if your spouse can't pay you that because they can't live either, this isn't going to work. So you need to understand their ability to pay and your need. And then lastly, you need to understand your state laws. Now, generically, what most states do is take the difference in income and put a percentage to it. This percentage is usually 20% of the difference in income, 25%, 30%. It's different in every state. So an example is if you have a difference of incomes of $100,000, 20% of that is 20 grand. 20 grand might be the allotted alimony that you could get. If you need help figuring out what your alimony should be, then make sure to schedule a call with me up in the link in my bio.
There's a new kind of financial planning out there. It's called How to Get Paid for Leaving Him. Step 1, pretend this is empowerment. Step 2, turn it into an online course. She's not talking about relationships. She's talking about post-marital income streams. Writing down your needs isn't self-reflection anymore. It's budgeting for your next lifestyle. Then comes the part where she studies his income like it's a target portfolio. Figure out what he earns, then calculate what you can drain without sinking the ship. That's not partnership. That's accounting with emotional justifications. And of course, every state has its own formula, which she conveniently frames as opportunity. 20%? 30%? She's teaching optimization, not healing. The best part? She sells a program to help you do it faster. The business of divorce now has a subscription model. Men used to invest in families. Now they're involuntary investors in exit strategies.
Do people not understand how alimony works? Do you not understand the sacrifices that women, particularly stay-at-home moms, make when they are staying home to raise the children? That is years of being out of the workforce, of being out of a profession. You expect her to try to find a job when she has no work experience for X amount of years. How do you think that would work for you if you had 5 to 7 years of a gap in your employment and you went to apply for a job within your previous professional niche and they were like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. And before you say like, oh, it doesn't have to be like a professional career or corporate job, you could go work at Lowe's or McDonald's. Work at McDonald's or Lowe's and then also take care and be the main custodial parent for your children on that wage? Come on. Alimony is here to protect women in these instances when they have been no earner or a lower wage earner than their spouse for any duration of their marriage. And a lot of times that is for stay-at-home moms who have been out of the workforce again, remember this, for X amount of years. And now their entire financial net has been taken away from them, but yet they're still the main custodial parent. So they are still supposed to just go on with life, living it in the same way that they did when they were married, but without the finances, without the financial support. Like, do you understand what kind of position that puts someone in? Particularly the woman, because she has historically and statistically been the one who has stayed at home to forego any type of career development or furthering of her profession. She has stayed home to care for the children that you two had together in order for you to advance your career. And now you expect her to just go out after, again, let's say 5 to 7 years of not being employed and find a job that actually pays good enough for her to live off of. Not to mention if she still has kids in daycare. because the cost of daycare is astronomical. So then if she can't afford daycare, then she can't afford to work. What do you expect her to do?
Every time alimony comes up, the same story gets recycled. Sacrifice, motherhood, unpaid labor. But what she's really saying is, my choices are now his financial obligation. That's not empowerment. That's dependence with better branding. Men go to work every day knowing nobody's covering their rent if things fall apart. But somehow, when a woman steps away from the workforce, the world's supposed to freeze until she's ready to come back. She calls it fairness. It's not. It's insurance for decisions that didn't pay off. Marriage wasn't supposed to be a retirement plan, yet here it's treated like one with monthly deposits. The narrative of sacrifice only ever runs one way. She gave up her career, but she also lived off the income, the roof, the lifestyle that career provided. That wasn't oppression. That was partnership. Until partnerships stopped paying. This isn't about kids. It's about control. Alimony has become the safety net for people who never planned for independence. And the system rewards it, turning personal responsibility into permanent liability. What you just heard wasn't compassion. It was a polished justification for turning love into lifelong debt.
Whenever I talk about becoming homeless after my divorce, people always ask me, did you get alimony? First of all, let me just lead by saying I think that alimony should be illegal because it enables women to get into situations like being a stay-at-home mom, giving up careers, giving up education, and then ending up on the other side like me, being homeless because we thought we were going to get alimony. Get rid of it completely and women will prepare themselves for their futures. Trust me, I hear tens of thousands of stories on my TikTok here from other women who've been through the same circumstance. But let me show you the math on my divorce. We're going to start in the middle here because originally when Jake and I separated, the court ordered him to pay me $3,600 a month in alimony and child support because he had a massive six-figure income and I was a stay-at-home mom with zero income. But by the time our divorce finalized, he had purposely had himself fired from his job so that he had no job whatsoever. So at the time of our divorce, he was ordered to pay me $1,640 a month in alimony plus some child support. So that alimony or spousal maintenance would have been $19,680 a year. The month after our divorce, Jake paid $1,640. The next month, he just decided he wasn't going to pay alimony anymore. The court ordered Jake to pay me alimony for 6 years because I had been a stay-at-home mom for 24 years. I didn't have a college education. I didn't have any career history. So 6 years at $1,640 a month would have been $118,000, a little bit of change. What Jake actually paid in that 6-year time span was $1,600. I've done other videos on how that when Jake heard that I was dying of COVID, he took me back to court to eliminate all alimony going forward and try to take my kids from me because I was so sick and I was dying. I just wanted him out of my life. I didn't want to deal with him. I literally thought that I was dying. So I signed a paper to relieve all past arrears and get rid of alimony going forward. The only thing I didn't sign was to give up my kids just in case I didn't die. I'm still here. So I missed out on $116,440. I shouldn't have been homeless. I shouldn't have been eating out of food pantries. I shouldn't have to still to this day tell my kids, you can't buy a second loaf of bread. You can't buy an extra pair of shoes. We can't drive somewhere because mom can't put gas in the car. Ladies, a man is not a plan. It never has been. Live like there is no alimony.
She's right about one thing. Alimony should be illegal, but not for the reason she thinks, because it's built on the fantasy that a man is a lifelong financial plan. She says she became homeless because her ex stopped paying. But let's be honest. If your entire life can collapse the moment a man walks out, that's not a marriage problem. That's a planning problem. You spent 24 years at home depending on his paycheck, and now you're shocked that dependence has consequences. That's not cruelty. That's reality. He shouldn't have ghosted the payments, but this is the core truth men keep shouting about. When you trade independence for comfort, the comfort ends when he does. And now she says women should prepare themselves. Exactly. That's what men have been saying for years. A man isn't a plan. Life happens. Prepare yourself like nobody's coming to save you, because that's how men have always had to live.
Something that was started to benefit women during a time where women couldn't earn money and all of that is now being used and like weaponized against women. When you think about it, like women, although we're in the best position that we've been like ever in terms of rights and abilities and things like that, we're still not on that level or even playing field with men. I would hope that doesn't need to be explained. So for men to now be asking for alimony, something that was put in place to support women in a time where women weren't able to financially navigate the world without a man, it just seems kind of crazy that men are like, women can do it, that and the third, so men should be able to collect alimony. It's like, there has been and still is not anything stopping a man from earning money. Literally, the world is still the world, because patriarchy and all of that exists in the world, not just in America. So I'm still trying to figure out, why are you, like, granted, your wife could be a superstar, she could be all of these different things based on her talent. Why are you not able to make money? What, like your lifestyle shouldn't really necessarily change. I don't know. I'm dumbfounded. It's just, even like, I was just literally briefly thinking about a list of women where this has happened. So we know Mary J. Blige, she had to pay her husband out monies during the divorce. Wendy Williams. What's the one lady? Her name starts with a K. Her ex-husband recently died. I can't think of her name right now. Kelly Clarkson. That's 3. And there's a few other women, like Rachel Lindsay, who was the first Bachelorette. She had to pay her husband or ex-husband or whatever. I just feel like, is this, like, does no one see an issue with this? Seriously. So, just want to have a conversation.
Here we go again. The alimony was made for women argument. Translation: it's only fair when it benefits us. She says men shouldn't ask for alimony because the world still favors them. Right, because in her world, equality stops the moment the bill shows up. She lists off celebrity women paying alimony: Mary J. Blige, Wendy Williams, Kelly Clarkson, and acts like it's a national crisis. Funny how when men pay, it's called accountability. When women pay, it's suddenly injustice. And the whole, why can't men just make money part? That's rich, because that's exactly what men have been told to women for decades. Now that the shoe's on the other foot, apparently it's oppression. Alimony was never supposed to be a lifetime subscription to someone else's success. If equality is real, it cuts both ways. You can't preach strong, independent woman and then crumble when it's time to write the check. Life doesn't play favorites, it just plays fair.
Here's the most important thing that you need to know about men. The one thing they care about the most in this world is their money. It is their first love and their lasting love. And for many men, not all men, but for many men, it is their one and only true love. So know that. When you date men, know that when you get into relationships with men, and know that when you marry men, pay attention to where they spend or invest their money, because this indicates what they value most, whether it is a thing or a person. And if they aren't spending their money on that thing or person, it says a lot too. Men part with their money when they want to, because it benefits them. And if it still benefits them to not part with their money, that's an even bigger bonus. If you understand this, you understand who that man really is.
She says a man's true love is his money. That's not greed, that's responsibility. See, men don't worship money. They respect what it takes to earn it. Because every dollar came with a trade, time, energy, and effort nobody else is lining up to give him back. And of course, she says, pay attention to where he spends it. Right, because women don't test men through their wallets or anything. Here's the truth she'll never admit. Men spend wisely, not emotionally. They don't invest in people who treat them like ATMs with feelings. A man not spending on you doesn't mean he's selfish. It means he's selective, because he's learned the hard way what it costs when he isn't. Men part with their money when it matters, not when they're manipulated. And that's exactly what separates discipline from desperation.